Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. I just wanted to start out today's video with gratitude. Yesterday, this channel officially hit 50,000 subscribers, and I just wanted to share how grateful I am for all of your continued support. It really means the world to me, and I feel honored to have this opportunity to be part of the greatest community in the world. Seriously. What we're doing here is so unique, so rare, and it's really beautiful to watch this truth be spread around the world. Every day I wake up and read an email or a message of someone that tells me how they tuned into one of my interviews or one of my weekly live streams, and it's allowed them to expand in a key aspect of their life where they were once feeling stuck or lacked motivation, or they were too emotionally tethered to these markets, and it was creating an imbalance in their life. And now, since finding this channel, they've broken through those plateaus and limiting beliefs and are finally aligning with higher self. For me to read that feedback puts the biggest smile on my face, and it truly makes my day, especially since I released my expansion Mastermind Course a couple months ago. That's when this feedback really started to pile in, and it showed me that we have so much more going on here than just cryptocurrency and technical analysis. So we finished off this year with the 50,000 subscriber milestone, and I want you to know that you gravitated towards this channel and my art exactly when you needed to. This is all about frequency and vibration, and you're here for a reason. We're all sharing this consciousness expansion together at this very moment for a reason. So cheers to 50,000. Next stop is 100,000. Let's go. And deep down from the bottom of my heart, much love to the Waters Above Wolfpack. So in today's video, we'll be going over the upcoming yearly close for the markets and even sharing a little bit of a Gematria decode on Hex. I've been having a lot of people in the Hex community reach out to me about this recent price action because they know about my accuracy with the TA specifically on this project, not only from my Red Pill podcasts or my YouTube videos, but even from live interviews that I've done. So in today's video, I'll be exposing exactly what to expect, what is happening with Hex, and what will be going on for the entire market, Bitcoin, ETH, and XRP in the short term. And finally, just a reminder about the flash sale that's live on my courses. This sale will be ending on the new year, so you have a couple days to take advantage of that sale if you are interested. This will be my last sale on YouTube for the foreseeable future. So if you're looking to invest in your education and would like to pick up one of my courses, you can visit watersabove.com/holiday sale and use the promo code holiday2022 at checkout. And to answer a question that I've been asked several times over the past couple days, yes, all of my courses are a one-time payment for lifetime access to the course materials. So once you've purchased, you'll be able to work on the course at your own pace and go through the course lessons one by one, no time commitments, no stress. You can take your time, and my website will automatically save your place on whatever course lesson you finished working on last. And it even has a progress bar to let you know how much of the course you've completed. It's a very user-friendly platform. So if you're interested in any of those courses while they're on sale, the link can be found in the description of this video and in the pinned comment below. So grateful for your support. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So we're going to be getting into some dates, of course, just to kick things off. We are in the last 2 days of the year 2022. So 2 more days left in the 222 year. So let's get to this. And we're just going to be going over a couple of key important things that I shared in my last video. But one connection to show you about today that's pretty interesting is if we connect today to Rosh Hashanah, the finality of the Shemitah 7-year cycle, we can see that that's 3 months and 3 days, 33, the number of transmutations, a very important master number. So in my last video, I was sharing several connections to the number 52 and the number 25. If you haven't watched that video, please go back and check that out. And the connections there were the fact that we're in the 52nd week of the year. And this had a connection to the zodiac that we're in, tropical Capricorn. So let me just quickly show you that. And you could see Capricorn giving us that 52. And of course, that's happening during this 52nd week of the year. And as well, cryptocurrency giving us that 52 in Chaldean. So we have a connection directly to crypto, but as well, you can see Capricorn is giving you that 97. And just a side note, crypto is 97 in the same cipher. Crypto also giving you 25, which is the mirror of 52, as above, so below. So this is really important, and we're seeing how important this connection is for the crypto market because we're continuing to see new lows for some of the top altcoins. And just to show you some examples, over here we have Solana taking another leg down into the 52nd week of the year. We have Cardano taking another leg down into this week. We could also see with Stellar Lumens continuing down, actually kind of just decoupling from XRP, which we've tend to see that XRP and XLM move in synchronicity, but now we're seeing this is detaching. And the reason why everyone needs to know is because of astrology. And this comes back to specifically Stellar Lumens being a Saturn token. And what I was just sharing before about the fact that we're in Capricorn, that's ruled by Saturn. So I'm going to really dive deep into this for you guys so you can see the symbolism and how you can utilize Gematria, numerology and astrology and see the symbolism of each token to actually apply it. And that is where you have those decoupling situations. So there is no doubt that just by looking at the logo of Stellar, that is Saturnalian symbology, okay? Whilst XRP is not. XRP is tied to Jupiter, all right? But anyways, I just wanted to show you how into this 52nd week of the year, we're continuing another leg down. We also have Algorand continuing a leg down. We have HBAR, another Saturn token, continuing to take a leg down. And finally, we have Hex, which is amazing because I've actually shared this exact chart several times, even in interviews that I've done with Crypto Coffee. So shout out to him for having me on his channel a couple of times and introducing my work to his community and the Hex community in general. And I'm open-minded to any community's thesis and where they stand on, you know, how they feel about a specific cryptocurrency. You all know that my work is not about isolating down to one particular coin or their community. It's about decoding the market. This way we could be sophisticated investors, remove our emotion, remove the connectivity that some might have to these technocrat leaders, so-called leaders, and just see the market for what it truly is. And that allows us to actually be a lot more sophisticated with not only building our investment thesis, as well as to be able to determine what's to come next. Because when we have a bias, especially a bullish bias to stuff, you know, we'll tend to be in like a denial phase. And I'm not saying anyone here is acting that way or anyone in the Hex community is acting that way. That's not my point. It's just for me to expose how this market becomes a lot easier to decode and so-called predict once you remove the emotions. So I have this SC drawn out here at the bottom that stands for selling climax. And we're seeing the territory that I have somewhere between this red line, which is about 0.22, and down here at 0.137. Now, where this gets really wild, and like I said, I've been getting a lot of people reaching out to me about Hex, which has continued to drop pretty much consistently since the start of December. One quick connection that we can make regarding December, and as you can see here, this is December 2nd, so it's been on a perpetual downtrend since. Now, if we type in Hex, this is just basics, guys. Like I'm starting this with the basics so that I can help people no matter where you're at with your decoding knowledge. With Hex, you get that 37, and 37 is the 12th prime number. So you could see that right there. And December is the 12th month in the Gregorian system. So just consider that, okay? Hex is short for hexagon, which actually ties to Saturn. It ties to Saturn's hexagon. And I've spoken about this in past YouTube videos, so definitely go check that out. I have a YouTube video on Hex with Richard Hart actually inside the thumbnail, so you could just check that out and you'll be filled in on a lot more of this esoteric stuff. So remember in my last video, I actually spoke about yesterday's date, the 28th. And the 28th being really important because it ties to Saturn. So remember, Hex is hexagon, which ties to Saturn's hexagon. And this is all about Saturn when we're talking about the Hex project or pulsechain or pulsex or any of that stuff. It's all coming back to Saturn. All right. Now, the connection here was 93 days since Rosh Hashanah. So you can see September 26th, that's the Rosh Hashanah date, the finality of the Shemitah, which is the Saturn year. And connected to yesterday, we have 93 days. And that, of course, equals Saturn, 93 in English ordinal. All right. And remember, we're in tropical Capricorn and Saturn rules Capricorn. Well, let's look at yesterday specifically with this 93 connection, and we're going to get a 19 date numerology. Well, let's look at Hex is giving us 19 in reduction cipher, but this is where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. If we zoom in to yesterday's price on Hex, the 28th of December, we're going to see that the daily close came in at 019. So let me just show you really quickly. If you stare right up there to where it says C and I hover right now and you pause the video, it's going to say 019. We hit that exact price on the daily close on the day that has a 19 date numerology tied to the 93 with Saturn. This is a Saturn token, and Hex even equals 19. Okay? So this is really important that everyone pays attention to this, because we're not only able to determine it by date numerology, but also Gematria and the price action. Now, I'll tell everyone the reason why Hex is not performing so well from an esoteric perspective, and it's because of this number 15. All right, it has this 15 in Chaldean, and that is a negative number this entire year. And I'll tell you why. So this is tied to Tiger. We're in the Chinese year of the Tiger. I've been using this all year, so if you've been following along my work, you're well aware of this. Okay, so this number 15, anything tied to the Tiger, has been unlucky this year. It's been negative. So this is how in my live stream a couple weeks ago, I was actually able to quickly assume that Argentina would win the World Cup. And I was able to determine that because France equals 47, which is the 15th prime number. Okay. And there's even more connections. France equals 24 in Chaldean, and 24 is the zodiac logo of Jupiter. And Jupiter this is all symbolic. Tiger is symbolic for Jupiter, the striped planet. And everything with this connection this year has been a negative outcome. All right. And this is a big reason why XRP is going through what it's going through right now, because XRP also equals 15 in Chaldean. All right. So please pay attention to this. Until January 22nd, 2023, which is about, 23, 24 days from today, that number 15, anything tied back to it with Gematria, will be crucial to consider as decoders. And it's been the way I picked the winning Super Bowl team earlier last year and who would win the World Cup in advance. So pay attention to this code family. I'm exposing this and I'm making it quite simple for you so you could apply it and utilize it on your own. So after this yearly close in a couple days, the next time frame for us to focus on will be the full moon of January. All right, so that'll be January 6th. It's very important. This is a critical time frame I've been preparing everyone for, and I was adamant that we would continue to see lower price action for the crypto market into early January. And now that we're just a couple days away from January, and going back to the examples that I showed you earlier with Solana and Cardano and etc., we're seeing how that's played out. It's exactly how we anticipated. Now, Bitcoin and Ethereum are holding structure whilst the rest of the crypto market continues to slow bleed and drain its market cap. Okay, so this is a typical asset class liquidity reset. And based on my analysis and decoding, I'm seeing this bearish energy coming to a conclusion very soon. Probably by the February new moon, which will be the end of February of 2023, it's very soon, we should be in the finality of our selling climax. So as I showed you before, this SC, by the February full moon, we should be in the finality of that energy. And that means the selling pressure will be exhausted and we can anticipate a relief rally. So a relief rally or somewhat of a bear trap is what's to be expected. It's what's in the cards. But just a reminder, you have to be patient in the process. There's still over 22,000 altcoins. Most are useless shit coins that need to go away, and their liquidity needs to rotate back into the stuff with actual fundamentals and a use case. And with the regulations around the corner, whether that be next year, 2024, it's irrelevant. This is the exact environment to anticipate a washout of those useless altcoins. So in the short term, this upcoming full moon on January 6th is a time frame the wolf pack has been waiting for a while now. I've been preparing you with the gnosis, and now it's time to stay calm and let this market come to you. We put in the work to decode the market. We designed the plan. The next phase is the most critical phase, which is called trade your plan. Take focused action when the market gives you these opportunities. And that's what sets the wolf apart from the bulls and the bears. And as I always say, don't be a bull, don't be a bear, be a wolf. Follow the moon. So before we get into the TA, go ahead and give this video a like if you haven't already. Spread some love in the comment section. Another thing you could do in the comment section is let me know when you joined this channel, about how many subscribers I had, because now that we're at 50,000 subscribers, I'm sure it's amazing to look back at a time whenever you joined, and I would just love to see all of your feedback. And also, like I said a little bit in the introduction, we do have that sale going on in my website, watersabove.com/holiday sale. So if you're interested in learning how to decode specifically and you want to know how to utilize Gematria, numerology, and astrology, this mastermind course is going to be very helpful in that. So moving on, let's get into some of the TA. I would like to review Bitcoin, actually, just because we're moving into a monthly close very soon for the entirety of the market. We know that this will be a yearly close, so that's a really important closure. But let's turn off some of this mess and see what's going on from a monthly perspective. And here we are with Bitcoin index chart. We're looking at the month. We closed the month of November actually on a bearish engulfing candle, and we're looking like we're still in continuation. So after closing pretty much anything in the red this month, that's kind of a negative sign, but it does look very similar to the structure that we see when we're in the midst of bottoming out. And when we measure time frames going from all-time highs to all-time lows, you could see that's about 365 days or just a year. And if you go from this high over to this low, you can see that it is the same, 12 bars, 365 days. So if Bitcoin wants to go one leg lower, please remember my last video where I talked about the crucial price target of 13,700, but at this time, we can actually see Bitcoin stabilize, maybe hit 15,000 again into early next week, and actually see altcoins continue to bleed even more, okay? So this is kind of the market energy we have to deal with right now, and it's something I've been really preparing people for quite a while. I've been telling people that after the finality of the cycle, to anticipate altcoins losing 95 to 98% of their value, some of which will go to zero probably by next September, October. But in the meantime, Bitcoin's going to actually regain power as it moves into the next eclipse in April of 2023. This is when we will enter what is called a solar cycle. And in the solar cycle, Bitcoin shines. Bitcoin will actually be the best position to have until the Bitcoin halving. And then we will reassess then. But we don't only have charts in our favor for this. You know, we have the astrological connections. We know about the mythologies and where this is all tied in. And pretty much after 2 years of me doing this work publicly on this channel, you can see these connections are undeniable. Every eclipse plays a huge role in the energy of the crypto market. So this next eclipse is going to be special because it's actually going to be a reversal energy. Whilst when we had these eclipses on December of 2021 into the new year, we entered a lunar cycle, and that made all of our lunar eclipses bearish, right? We saw the Terra Luna collapse on a lunar eclipse, and it pretty much went to zero, has not recovered at all since. Simultaneously, we saw on the last lunar eclipse, we watched The Ritual with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. We've been going over it and following it week by week on this channel, but we're actually moving out of that energy soon, and lunar eclipses won't be as profound of an impact on Bitcoin. They will continue to affect coins that are tied to Luna, coins that are, and what I mean by Luna is the moon, not the coin Luna. I'm talking about anything that's tied back to the actual moon, Isis, Selene, etc. But let's move on. This structure right here is not looking too positive. Let me look at like a weekly and see what we have going on here. So clearly we're building a little bit of structure. We're making it about 7 weeks now. We're holding the lows, nothing really catastrophic, and also not so much volatility. We could also see here on the daily, we're holding structure. It's been about going on 50 days now. We been sandwiched between 17,000 and 15,000 on the downside. So no resolution. We've been doing this over and over again, where Bitcoin will go sideways, take a leg down, sideways, leg down. So we're just still in the process of finding bottom. So at this time, I've already exposed what I anticipate for downside targets. Breaking 15,400, you're probably starting to anticipate something in the mid 13,000s. Now, as for upside, which I wouldn't really be considering at this time, breaks above 18,000 on a daily close would anticipate us to move probably into 19. But there's a very critical level right there, and I have it drawn on my chart. And it's just been this prior support, which was about 150 days of support, and it broke. And now it hasn't even been back tested to see if it will be a flipped resistance. So we got our downside levels, we got our upside levels. We're aware of the energy to expect next, which is downside because of the upcoming full moon. And I'm being very thorough, as you can tell in my videos, because I've been getting a lot of feedback of people who are not only confused, maybe they're newer to the channel. I know they mean well, but a lot of the time what's happening is they're starting to get too close-minded and too specific about things, and they're not really seeing the whole picture here. So I'm really trying to take my time to explain everything as thorough as possible and still tell you direction to anticipate, because many people, when they find this work, the initial response is either disbelief or they just want to know where we're going next. And I can't, how many more times can I say it? I've been very thorough in showing you the direction to anticipate, whether that be up or down, and giving you price targets and conditions to consider with whatever occurs. So that is as good as it gets when it comes to TA and being able to analyze markets. It doesn't really get much better than that. And when we have Gematria, Numerology, Astrology to combine with it all, it really, really allows you to see another layer to what's happening here. The true layer of the reason why the market moves the way it does. Another note to make is yesterday, Mercury is now stationed retrograde. So we're going to be having a little bit of energy with that. And Mercury has everything to do with commerce and the fiat money system, which is tied to the market. Now, that is very important. That means when Mercury is stationed retrograde, it will affect the market, including cryptocurrencies, specifically coins that are tied to Mercury, which I could show you really quickly. Mercury giving you that 23 in Chaldean, and Bitcoin giving you that 23 in Chaldean. And if it affects Bitcoin, then it affects every other cryptocurrency. So let's move on. Now, we're looking at the ETH chart. Not a whole lot to say about this besides the fact that we're just continuing to build strength at prior resistance. At prior support, flipping it as a resistance. So that's not a good thing. The fact that we're continuing to get rejected around 1275, not bueno. No bueno. So on the downside, I'd be looking to 1100 and then breaks of daily closes below that. I'm anticipating 1,000 flat. And I do think in the January full moon, we can see a sub 1,000 ETH, just based off of everything that I've been sharing, everything that I've been analyzing. So keep that in mind. Right now, we're just kind of coiling up. We're building some trading range in between this 12.7 and 1,100 range. We traded there a little bit back in the summertime, but then we popped heavily above it, somewhat of a bull trap, coming down for lower highs, and then finally breaking back down into the same liquidity zone. So I would just be actually, as somebody who's interested in reaccumulating more Ethereum, I like the fact that it's holding these supports and it does not continue to just drain slowly to the downside like we're seeing with a lot of the other altcoins, as I showed you earlier in this video. So I've given you the price levels, and until we see resolution on either side, there's really nothing to say here, but I have a bias towards $1,000 and lower ETH in early January. And that's nothing from here. That's only about a 15-20% move. So let's get into XRP. XRP had a little bit of a pumpy dump fake out where it moved up a little bit, moved up into December 27th, got that 37-cent target. That's a key level because you can see right there, we had a bunch of attempts at holding that level, but then right here on the 16th of December, just came right through it. Since we've back tested, and now we're getting a little bit of a short-term rejection at the same level, so that's not good. Again, lower highs, no bueno. Now, I drew this trend line out in a recent Red Pill podcast, which is available every week over on my Patreon, patreon.com/watersabove. And I drew this trend line out, which you can see is actually a really important trend line. It goes back to some of these highs that we see in the prior cycle of 2014. Arguably this rejection right here, which was insane, just a straight line breakout for XRP. And then having our buying climax entering the selling climax here, which was the C-scam crash back in March of 2020, having this flare token nonsense, and then the SEC crash, come right back to this trend line. Look at this. We hit our yearly high in the cycle, what I would be calling our automatic rally in the macro, coming down, literally back testing it back in June, and then since holding the trend line. So this is actually a really important trend line. And anyone who's been following along my work now for a couple months, you know that I've been holding onto this descending resistance line for, I mean, pretty much going back to November 2021 when Bitcoin hit the all-time high. So this trend line and this bottom trend line are starting to, form their apex, and we're getting pretty damn close. So if we were to measure how many days we have left till the apex of this pattern, 57 days, where does that get us to? The end of February. And what did I say earlier in my video? I said I expect us to have the finality of our selling climax for the overall market by late February, by the February new moon. So the fact that this is all happening, meeting right there, does not surprise me. Now, we could actually, of course, extend lower. We could have this come down to 27 cents, bounce, have a ricochet up, start treating this as a new support when it was once a resistance, maybe have an inverse head and shoulders, and then actually get back to $1 sometime by April, which is what I'm anticipating. I think in the year 2023, I am anticipating at least a $1 XRP one more time. And that's might sound a little wild, but it's a way more conservative than what some people might believe. And that's disregarding the SEC case. That's disregarding any of the theater that's going on over in Washington, D.C. So I'm going to leave it at that because I do see us just coiling up in this overall pattern. This is getting very symmetrical at this time. We're about 50, 60 days away from the apex of this. We have our support at the bottom. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an ironclad support. We can still shake beneath it on a daily and then come up into a weekly close and hold it. Remember, we're at the stage right now where selling pressure is starting to get exhausted. So we can move down, but the buybacks are going to be extreme. And this is like a good segue into just finishing up this video with Hex. As you can see, Hex, whenever it was dropping out in these big, just scam wicks to the downside, it was getting bought back up pretty heavily. The same example back here in November 28th, the same example over here on December 16th. It's just continuing to get bought back up pretty heavily. Same example right here on May 28th. Now it's at a point where it's just really starting to slow drain. So the last thing I could say, because I did mention I'd reveal what my next target is, I brought it up a little bit earlier. It's going to be 0.138. That's where I'm looking at for Hex. And that's pretty obvious. We have here this pump, rejection, here, pump, rejection, here, a pump, and a rejection. And then this is a clean W pattern, which had a clean back test of the neckline. So that definitely confirms the fact that 0.137 is a very, very crucial level for Hex, and we're gravitating right down towards that. Now, that's actually really amazing esoterically because 137 is the 33rd prime number. So, I mean, that's just fascinating right there. If we do see Hex come perfectly down to that level and get a little bit of a support built, wow, that just proves, and time again, it's continuing to prove that this coin is actually easy to do TA on. It's easy to utilize Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology, and that's a good thing. It's one of those projects that for the community that's interested in it, although they're completely unaware of the power of this esoteric code, I do hope my work has liberated them from some of the narrative and the theatrics that happens on Twitter and YouTube and all these places where it's just emotions. And this actually gives you the key to the market. And I hope today's video proved that, because that 19 connection to the 19 date numerology and the close of 019 on the same day is just undeniable. So I'm going to end it there. Again, I appreciate every single one of you. Congratulations for being a part of this journey. We hit 50,000 subscribers. I really have so much love for every single one of you, and enjoy the last couple days of your year. I will be actually planning to do a New Year's Eve live stream, so that'll be available here on this channel. We'll be live to the public. I'm excited to hang out with all of y'all, so I'll be catching you soon. Much love.